Layout is one of the projects that I made for the scan paper crafts. I also made a shadow box, and I will have a start to finish video on the shadow box, but I didn't do a video on this layout because it is a relatively simple layout and I can just explain it to you guys and you will know what I did. So for this layout, as you can see here, I did not use too much embellishment on it. All I used are the beautiful paper. It is Prima Lyric collection. It's 12 by 12. You can get this in Discount Paper Craft store, and you can also get the Lyric collection embellishments with them, like this little paper clip, this little music note paper clip, and there's some other Lyric collection embellishment in this shadow box as well. I will explain it later when I'm done with this layout. So what I did is I just ripped some paper to place at the corners, like here and here. I don't know if you can see it. And then I just fussy cut out a bunch of stuff on the paper. The paper is just so gorgeous. Literally, you don't need any other embellishment, but if you want to make your layout more dimensional, of course you are going to use some embellishment. But here, I just want to show you how beautiful the paper can be just by itself. So I just fussy cut out a chandelier, a clock, some banners, some borders, a clock. I cut this clock in half, so one half is here, another half is here, and a bird cage, and just some borders. Just it's at the bottom part of a page, another border, and just some flowers, some banners, and some banners, I guess. I don't know how you call these little banner thingy, like that one. I also cut this out from the paper, and this little heart one too. This is from the paper. And then I just added a bird cage. It's from Fern Studio. You can also get it in Discount Paper Crafts. And then before I adhere down this photo, what I did is let me get it closer so you can see it. I put some strips of paper here and there. There are more, but they're covered along the sides, and some here, and you can really see it now, just to add some extra texture. And then I used some texture paste and stencil, just do some dots. You guys know how much I love dots. I just love these kind of little dots and chevron patterns, whatever, and squares, this kind of little continuous pattern stencil. That's how I call them. And some of the dots, oh, my cat's here. Some of my dots over here. And then what I did is, after they're dried, the texture paste is dried, I just use my smooth ink. There, let me show you. Here are the colors that I used. I don't think they're too obvious because, again, I don't want it to make it too dominant and your eyes just focus on the dots. So I kind of dilute the ink a little bit before I apply it on. However, it's also, some colors are better than just white color. So that's what I did. I just add the smooth inks to the dots. Each dot has a different color, up and down. And then, okay, I forgot to mention that before I do everything. It is a white chipboard. Kathy has this in her store. You can buy it on Discount Paper Crafts. So to show you that how great this white chipboard is, I didn't mat any paper on it. All I did is I used my distress paint in antique linen. I just kind of go over the places where I'm gonna place my photos and stuff with the paint, so you can see the color here is a little bit yellowish than the white color that's kind of showing up at the edges. The original color is white. Okay, now I'm going to keep talking about what I did here. And then after I painted the texture paste dot, all I did is I just draw some little doodling. Let me show you that. My kitty, let me get her out of the table. Draw some little doodling, like kind of hanging down. And here I draw some doodling, just kind of randomly branches out. I don't know what this means, but I think it looks pretty. So, and then I just used my brush and I used some Glimmer Mist. I mean, not Glimmer Mist. I think they're Looney Stampings Flat Fabio. And then I just kind of draw them like that, and use my pen to outline the edges so it looks cooler, I think. And I think that's it. That's all I did to this layout. Pretty simple, and I think it turned out pretty good. So hope you guys like that. And now it's time for my shadow box. So I did not make a project share part for my shadow box because I think it will be more clear just for me to show you the process and explain what I do. So here I'm just adhering two 6x6 chipboard together. By doing that, it will make sure that the back part of the shadow box will be more sturdy or sturdier. And then after the baseboard are adhered together, I'm just placing down the paper hinges to connect the baseboard to the sides of the shadow box. These chipboards are all from Kathy's store, Discount Paper Crafts, and she carries this amazing white surface chipboard which is so versatile to work with. You don't need to treat the surface if you don't want to, and that's what I did to the layout. You see that I didn't use a background paper for that, but in the shadow box I'm just going to show you how sturdy this chipboard really is. And I did cover the whole box with Prima Lyrics collection paper. Now you've seen how I do the base box. Now I'm just trying to put the paper hinges onto the paper pieces that or chipboard pieces that I'm going to put into the base box to make different compartments. Now the structure of the box is complete, so I'm just cutting out the paper that I want to use to cover the box. So I'm just using a kind of collaged background paper from Lyric Collection. Again, you can get this in Discount Paper Craft store. What I did to the paper is I just the edges and then I embossed them, dry emboss them with my Tim Holtz embossing folder. And then after the embossing is done, I just take them out and I use my distress ink on them. The color I believe is Free Burlap. And then I just use my sanding block to sand down the embossed surface to get some of the white core showing, so it kinda looks more distressed and vintage. And again, for the paper I'm going to use to line the inside of my box are also distressed, embossed, and then used distress ink to go over the embossed part, and then I used my sanding block to sand down the erased part and let the white core showing. For the paper I use to line the back of the box are not embossed and they're not distressed in any ways because I want to keep the back of the box simple. The trims I'm using here is also from Discount Paper Crafts, Kathy's store, and it is made art pearl center trim in white color. So here you see I am just trying to hair down some flat back pearl trims to my box, and then I ended up not liking it, so I literally just ripped them out. Here I am just applying some texture paste to the edges of the box to make it more mixed media, more interesting. And though you can see the edges of my box are having some pretty trims going on, and I ended up ripping that out too. Because I think the paper that are used to line the back of the box is a little bit boring, so I decided to rip out some paper and just adhere them down to the paper that I used to line the back of the box. You can see what I'm doing here. It's pretty simple, but it adds a lot of interest and texture to the background. So here you see that I ripped out the pretty trims and the half-back pearl trim because I decided that they're kind of too much for me. So what I'm doing here is just I'm using my texture paste and going around the edges of my box to make sure the ugly edges of my paper will not show up, and to make sure that the box is more will show up more interesting than just flat white edges. So that's the reason that I'm doing that. It worth the time, the worth the hassle, it turned out great. And the thing I am squeezing out right here is puffy paint. I am just applying them at random places outside the box and inside the box, just to make sure the box is not boring and has some texture to it. Since the box is very textured and mixed media and kinda has a grunge look to it, I think the pearl trims just look kinda too perfect. So I decided to use my scissors and just cut out some parts of the trims. You can see some parts of the trims don't have the scallop edges, that's because I cut them off. although these flowers are looking so fabulous with its original colors, I still feel like I wanted to color them to match the color theme of the paper collection. And what I used is Lindy Stamp Gang Starburst Spray and some Fat Fabules. This beautiful flower vine I'm using here is also from Prima Lyric collection. It is available in discount paper crafts, and you can get 3 of these beautiful vines for less than $3, so I think it's a pretty nice deal. The bird cage I am coloring here again is also available in discount paper crafts. It's from Fern Studio. What I'm doing to this chipboard is just paint it white, and then I used my smoosh inks to color it to match the color theme of my whole box or the paper collection. These 2 wings are Prima's resin embellishments. They're again available in her store. The reason that I placed these wings, one at the top right and one at the bottom left, is because I wanted to kind of be correspond to each other, so I think it's perfect for them to sit like that. And for the music note, the chipboard music note I'm using here, I did the same thing as what I did to the chipboard birdcage. I just colored them white and then used my smoosh inks to color them so they look more interesting and match the whole color theme. I know the video is going a little bit too fast for you, but I don't want you to watch a 40 minutes video because it is a really long process, and I already speed it up to the fastest option I can use. So, and it's still about 20 minutes long, so bear with me. The pink flower is a little bit too pink, so I used my puffy paint to paint over the flower, first to give it more texture and second to tone down the color a little bit. I apologize that my head is always getting into the way because the box is laying flat on my table and it's a little bit hard for me to see if I don't just stand up and put my head close to the box. Little banners I am holding here is the cutout from the paper collection, and so is this little heart strips. So here I am pretty much done with this box, and that's it. That's my first design team project for this gum paper crafts, and I hope you guys like it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!